Oh boy. Have to start here, right? This live stream may or may not be for you, but consider this. All men are sons. Not all men are fathers. You know what I mean? So I just say, for those men out there who came from broken homes, and have children, um, be it you fathers, be the father that you never were, you know, try to give your children, just uh, a chance, try to give your child the love and the care and the concern that they should have. It's challenging, but for those that go through that, just know that it's not impossible to turn around and break free from those chains, from those situations that you may have faced. And there's a lot of us out there who have come from broken homes, fatherless homes, or fathers in and out and stuff like that. So a lot of that doesn't really get addressed. Sometimes we just say Happy Father's Day and keep it moving, and that's kind of just the way it is. Um, to those that are fathers, and are doing their thing out there, and are being the fathers that they should be, pass on those lessons, those teachings. May your children, may your sons be the father that you never were. I mean, be not never were, be the father that you are. Because there are many people out there, who suffer and struggle, with not having, that guidance, that teaching and stuff like that. To tell you the truth, me and most of my close friends have had situations, with, issues with fathers and stuff like that. So we kind of know. Good morning, Mac Truck. Appreciate you. Thank you for coming through. This won't be a long live stream. This will be just long enough to make an impact, just long enough to say my piece. I'm not bashing anybody who are not, good fathers or anything like that. For some of you out there, there's still time to come back and, be in your children's life and do whatever it is that you got to do, even if you get older and stuff like that. This is just to say to those out there, who are fathers, happy Father's Day to you that are doing your thing and making it happen. To those that are not fathers, but just have kids and are sperm donors, there's still hope for you as well. There's still a way. There's still possibilities. There's still things that you can do. You can call your children. You can get out and reach out and get in touch with them. You can overcome the shame. Overcome the fear of judgment, depending on the relationship. It never hurts to try. And it's not a Father's Day thing. This is not just a Father's Day live stream. This is not a, hey, let me bash anybody or whatever the case may be. It's just that the reality is not everybody on Father's Day is having a happy Father's Day. Be it for religious reasons, be it for not having type of relationship that they should have or wanted to have with their fathers or whatever the case may be, and also too conversely, as I'm talking about this, it's more of a trend. Happy Father's Day to the mothers out there that have played both roles, that have been the father and the mother, that have, raised the kids in the absence of the father. Shout outs to you, for the mothers out there that have held it down, and raised their children, through unspeakable odds, that have been there, that have been the pillars, the matriarchs of their family, that have been the ones, to guide, the children through, all those tough and rough times. What's going on, Egyptian Gamer Geek? Thank you for coming through. I appreciate you. So it is a situation where, you look at it, and on the surface, um, you think, hey, there's no hope. I'm lost, and I have my father in my life. I mean, of course, they have positive male role models and stuff like that out there, that you find, in the absence of, a father, whatever the case may be. You have father figures, uncles, and stuff like that. Yeah. Well, hey, good night to you, Egyptian Gamer Geek. Appreciate you for coming through. The reason I do this live stream like this is because, sometimes it's not really spoken about enough. It's not really spoken about enough about the children, that come from these situations. And a lot of times we power through, you find ways to cope. You don't beat down on nobody. And I tell anybody that came from a broken home, you don't down your fathers or whoever the case may be. I mean, things could have been better, but the thing is, it's important to forgive and not hold a grudge and move on for your sake, especially if you want to have children. Especially if you want to be a father, or have a family yourself. We fight not to be, the fathers that we came from. I'm saying we fight to be better than the situations we were birthed into, regardless of whatever those situations are. And, not, knocking anybody or whatever the case may be. There's systematic things that come, be it situations with drug use or born into poverty or crime ridden areas or, just, I don't know, cultural things that lead to these type of situations happening. Um, it is a challenging thing. I mean, so why not talk about it on Father's Day? But the truth is, there's a lot of sperm donors out there. There's a lot of men out there, who are sperm donors. All men are sons, not all men are fathers, and it's important to say that because just because you birthed a child doesn't mean you've played the role or been in that role. You know what I'm saying? I still hope there's time for you to be able to see my vids. Yeah, no, I will. I will, Egyptian Gamer Geek. I will see your vids. I get the message. I get the message. I haven't forgotten about you. Australia Father's Day is in September. I didn't know that. I didn't know that. Father's Day is a little controversial, at times because, on Father's Day, there are a lot of fathers out there who do good. There are a lot of fathers out there who raise their children that are loving towards their spouses, that are really, raising their sons properly. But the problem is a lot of times they get overshadowed by so many of the men out there not doing what they're supposed to do. The story of Dory. Good morning to you. Appreciate that. So there's so many good fathers out there that get overshadowed by the fathers or the people, who are not doing what they're supposed to do. The men out there who are the sperm donors, the men out there who are not actually, in the role like they should be as a father. Sometimes, people are fathers in just name only, as far as, you're on the birth certificate and, you were there, you did the deed, Sometimes the only real thing that happened is that you had sex and you created the baby. So that's just what that is. And for you fathers out there, that are not taking care of your kids, for you fathers out there that are neglecting your responsibilities, I say you're missing out on a very beautiful situation. You're missing out on a very, cool time. That's cool, Egyptian Gamer Geek. Congratulations on that. Hopefully you get that going. But like I said, for those fathers out there that are not doing it, any man can become a father. Only some can be a dad. Well, yeah, you could say it like that. You could definitely say it like that. And like I said, this is not to bash anybody who is not, doing what they're supposed to do. Even some people say don't worry about it, male, go in. This is just to say that, regardless of what you've done in the past, there's still time. There's still hope. There's still, if especially if you have your children at young ages and you're not the father that you should be, there's still time, especially, before they get older. Now, once they get older, there's time to be a father or time to try to repair the relationship, but it's more of an adult level. It's more of looking back, more apologies, more trying to understand, looking back retrospectively. So I say to those fathers out there that are not in your children's life now while your children are young, you still have time to reach back and be the father that you should be. You still have time to repair a relationship. Don't wait until your kid gets, 17, 18, almost about to be going into adulthood and then try to show up back in their life. Don't wait until they become, active in sports or maybe they get a windfall of money and then all of a sudden you're there, like you've been there all the time. There's time, especially while your child is young, if you have time, make up with your baby mother, reconcile, your situation, pay your child support, do what it is that you're supposed to do. You know what I'm saying? Exactly, fix it early. Don't wait. Don't wait. So much time can be lost and so much irreparable damage can be done, before, the child, gets to the point where they're an adult and then now they're trying to cope with and deal with these situations, as an adult, not understanding, not knowing, being confused, being lost, trying to find themselves as a man, or even, as a woman, trying to find yourself, for the young girls out there, with, daddy issues and stuff like that. It's a challenge, because you're trying to figure out your way in the world. You had nobody to guide you and teach you in a proper way. So sometimes you're lost with where you should go, where you should step. And to the fathers out there who have made missteps, we all make mistakes. It's okay. Things happen. I mean, the thing is to recover from that, to snap back and say, you know what, if I've done something wrong, let me get over this shame, let me get over this fear, let me come back into myself and become that father that I should be. It's not easy. I'm not gonna sit here and say it's just a 1, 2, 3 step. No, you're gonna be some times where your child is mad at you, hangs up on you, doesn't want to talk to you, doesn't want to see you, doesn't want to acknowledge you. But over time, if you're sincere, if you show up into your child's life and you try to be there, then that will slowly start to heal and repair itself, that relationship, as far as what you're trying to do in that particular situation. And if you come back into your child's life as an adult, just be realistic about it. Don't pretend you were the father that you never were, in any particular situation. Be real. In any case, in any event, to those fathers out there who are not in their children's life like that, just come in and be real. Come in. As long as you're still breathing and living, you have time. And that's just what it is. Lovely Kid Japan, appreciate it. I mean, and to those kids that, or to those people who have, good fathers, be appreciative of the fact that you have a good father, because not all of us have grown up in households where you've had good fathers, or fathers that knew how to be fathers, or people that knew how to control themselves, or whatever the case, that really kept the household, safe and secure. So that's important. Don't take for granted if you have a good father in your household. I tell you, you children out there, listen to your father. I tell the wives out there, I tell the mothers out there, if you have a good husband and a good man taking care of your kid, don't down that man. Don't find reasons to nitpick with that man. Congratulate that man, cherish that man, celebrate that man. Now, don't go over the top, but be grateful. Thank God for that man. Even if you don't believe in God, say thank you for the fact that you have a good man that's taking care of the child, especially if that man not cheating on you or whatever the case may be. And for those people who are in relationships where the baby daddy, y'all separated, but he still pay child support and show up and visit the kids and take care of the kids, be grateful for that. Be thankful for that, because that doesn't always go that way. There's a lot of fatherless homes around the world. This is not just an American thing. It's not a uniquely American problem. There are fatherless children all over the planet. So I tell anybody, on this day, whatever language you speak, whatever background you come from, whatever sexual orientation or religious, denomination you're in, if you have a man in your home that is taking care, or around that's taking care of those children, and doing it respectfully and respecting you, regardless of the situation, be thankful for that, because it don't always happen that way. And you don't have to take my word for it. You can Google the numbers. Any country you want. Some numbers may be lower than others, but one fatherless home is one too many. You know what I'm saying? So it happens that way. And the reason I take time to speak like this is because sometimes you just got to come objectively from a standpoint of somebody who knows. I've been there. I know what it's like. So I'm not going to go into details. I'm not going to try to bash anybody or whatever the case may be, but I know what it's like. So on the other side of it, and I've seen what it's like on the other side, where folks is getting taken care of and people are just taking it for granted. Do not take for granted that you have your father in your home. Do not take it for granted. It's all for me. Yeah, well, but that's crazy. That's crazy. But still, if you have a good relationship with them, then that's something that you can definitely think about, and also too, to touch on those people who have lost their fathers, for different reasons, various reasons, or whatever the case may be, and they're no longer here. Rest in peace. May they rest in peace. And for those that have had situations and I guess the wrong way, or in a foul way, like I said, there's still peace that you can have in your heart and whatnot. So we say a prayer for you, and we hope that like I said, you you always have them in your heart. You know, it's kind of crazy. That one is a hard one is to really speak on, or whatever the case may be. You know, but there's so many different things I've lived, and I'm living on both sides of this. Yeah, the story. I mean, it's tough. It's rough. It's rough. You know, but like I said, even now, I guess I'm not this sunshine and rainbows guy, so I'm not trying to depress anybody. Hopefully, I haven't depressed anybody with my conversation. It's really just one of those things where the perspective I come from and the way I see it, and the things that I'm just saying, this is the truest way I can present it. I don't want to come on here and just be like happy Father's Day and not talk about the other issues from the other side. The reality is there are people out there who are gonna get the Happy Father's Day, cards and things like that, and they're probably not the greatest fathers in the world. For you folks out there that are celebrating your Father's Day and celebrating, and you ain't doing what you're supposed to do, be careful. Karma is crazy, huh? How was your dad? How was he? Um, that's a good question. Um, let's just say conflicted. We'll say it like that, conflicted. Um, there you go. Sometimes that's a tough way to say. How was he? You know, um, yeah. I've had both of those. I've had the father there, father absent, Dory. So I know how that is, or whatever the case may be. It's really interesting. You know, sometimes it's tragic, it's sad, or whatever the case. But this is not like the pity party. This is not the bash him or whatever. Because I don't believe in the whole we're gonna bash the deadbeat daddies and all this other stuff. I don't believe in all that. But it is a situation of saying, hey, look, it is something to be addressed. It is something to be talked about. It is something to be understood that, hey, look, you know um, there's still hope regardless of the fact. Let's not get it twisted. We can still move on. you know all right, take care, Egyptian Gamer Geek. True boys and fathers is hard sometimes, right? Yeah, I mean, it's hard sometimes. It definitely is hard sometimes, especially even if I play devil's advocate for those fathers that are not there. I understand the fact, of the pressures of the world and the pressures of society and whatnot. Sometimes trying to step up and be there in a way that you may not really be totally prepared for. So it is that situation where there's so much to factor in and so much to consider. Sometimes fathers that are not good fathers, or fathers that are not fathers at all, absentee. Sometimes they had that lineage in their family. It's just so many people who look at them and say, okay, this person wasn't a good father, but who taught them how to be a good father? You know what I mean? Who taught them how to hold down their family and really be there in the way that they should? Who taught them this stuff? So that's what it is. Only made peace with 5 years before he passed away. And it's just it, and I hate him. Yeah, definitely, Dory. That's what you want to do, regardless of what type of relationship you have with your father. In the negative, especially in the negative sense, you always want to try to make peace with that situation. And I've had to make peace with my father. I made peace with him in a lot of different ways. And it's challenging, but at the same time, you want to do that, just like your mother was saying, Dory. You don't want to have hate in your heart, towards your family or whatever, towards your siblings or towards your parents or whatever the case, as hard as it may be sometimes. But that's just really what that is. So, I mean, I say, hey, look, anytime you can release a negative energy, get rid of it, regardless of the situation, it's always going to be a one-up and plus for you. So you might as well take that or whatever. So, it's all good. Call me time if you wish. Yeah, I work with somebody named Tom. Yeah, but it's all good. Um, Believe me, I can definitely relate to you, Tom. I can definitely relate to your story. I can definitely relate to where you come from. And a lot of the things that you're probably talking about, I probably face myself. In any particular situation with fathers and all that stuff. So, it's kind of interesting. It's kind of sad, but it's reality. You know what I'm saying? You just try to speak it from a real place, come from an authentic situation, and say, look, this is where we are. This is what we live. This is how life is transpired. This is the hand that you've been dealt. But the reality is to leave you with hope. Is to say, just because you've been dealt that hand or grew up in a fatherless home doesn't mean you can't be productive. Doesn't mean you can't break the cycle. Doesn't mean you have to be the type of father that your father was or wasn't. There's ways to learn from that. You can look for positive role models. You can find yourself in spaces where it's encouraged, and learn how to be that father that you need to be, and learn how to, put that family unit together as it should be. It's not over. So that's what I say. And also too, like I said again, to those folks that are holding it down, to those fathers, to those mothers out there that are doing what they do, happy Father's Day to you. Congratulations to you. Thank you for being the father that you are. And on that note, I say, spread love is the Brooklyn way. Happy Father's Day to those folks out there that's holding it down. Take care.